Hey, howdy hey, and welcome back to Emily's Adventures in Horrorland. Today's film is the last one I'm reviewing for Stalker Month, but it may be the most mainstream example, and particularly well known for that one scene. Many have considered Obsessed to be an inferior remake, and several comparisons have been drawn, but I'd like to judge Fatal Attraction on its own merits. For the most part. So, you ready? You ready? You ready? You ready? Are you? Are you? Are you? So here we have the Gallagher family just chilling out at home. These two are yelling about clothes and their daughter is swearing, but the dog's just being a dog. I like dogs. Dan and his wife Beth head out to some kind of work get-together of his, and there's Glenn Close playing Alex, who has that 80s career gal hair going on. Yeah, who could possibly resist? She has some friendly chit-chat with Dan, and that's about it for now. I love that she has that look on her face of, yeah, I think I will stalk this one. Hey, we've all got to make that decision. Not to be taken lightly either. Stalking takes up a lot of your time and your resources and your energy. These days you can just go online and get somebody's address for a fee, but back then you had to dedicate yourself to figuring out the guy's schedules and his various haunts. Right? Dan's wife and daughter head away for the weekend and he finds out that he's working with Alex. Because Dan's umbrella is apparently made out of crepe paper and toothpicks, he ducks out of the rain with Alex and they have a meal together. God, would you look at that? Smoking indoors, ordering just plain coffee without having to worry about all that Starbucks Grande Frappuccino nonsense. Those were the days. So Alex begins heavily flirting with Dan, and in a jump cut he decides to partake in ridiculously hyperbolized shenanigans with her. And then they dance the salsa. And then they get frisky again in a lift this time. What the hell was in that coffee? The two hang out again the next day, and seem to have a nice time. Bad idea, Dan. Don't make this hookup any more than it needs to be. Don't break a girl's heart. You heartbreaker. He tries to let her down gently, which seems to work at first. And then she takes out her anger on his shirt, and then she apologises, and then oh crap. This lady goes back and forth like a child on a swing, who's had the same kind of coffee as these guys. Dan takes care of her for a while, and then goes back to his loving family. So, has he got away with it? Oh yeah, they're still work colleagues. No! Alex keeps trying to get into contact with Dan until finally he agrees to meet with her.
Is this what you want to talk about, our imaginary love affair?
I'm pregnant.
Dude, you didn't use protection? You didn't think that might be a good idea when AIDS was just becoming a thing? You didn't even ask if she was on the pill before you went... You were a dunce! So, now the stakes have been raised, and Alex's attempts to get to Dan become less and less socially acceptable. Now, if there's one thing I like to see in a story, it's characters that come in shades of grey. This could apply to horror, thrillers, anything really. Alex Forrest is one of those characters, and she tends to divide opinion. Is she really the bad guy? Parts of the film make her out to be the innocent, lovesick woman to Dan's self-concerned, arse-saving jerk. But then again, he did state from the beginning that he was married. But he shouldn't really be cheating in the first place. But Alex shouldn't be threatening him and cooking his pets. The film doesn't shy away from the theme of infidelity, whereas in Obsessed, Derek mentions in almost every scene he's in just how faithfully devoted he is to Beyoncé. That's boring. I mean, Dan's happily married too, but he still makes the decision to sleep with Alex. This also gives him a legit reason not to tell his wife about his stalker, ahem. So since Fatal Attraction came out, there's been much speculation on just what Alex's deal is. Most agree that the character has borderline personality disorder. Having known someone with BPD, I can see why people would think this. Alex struggles with emotional instability, a fear of abandonment, unexplained feelings of anger and anxiety, and she also has a black and white way of thinking.
I'm not trying to hurt you, Dan. I love you.
You're a cock-sucking son of a bitch.
However, those with BPD are more at risk of harming themselves than those around them. And since the film's release, people have criticised it for contributing to the social stigma surrounding the mental health condition, including Glenn Close. Not that she has a problem playing villains and anti-heroes in general. People have also labelled Alex as a psychopath and as an erotomaniac, but I don't believe that she believes Dan loves her back. I feel like she's more clutching at straws. Come here. Come here, you little bastard! Dan attempts to go to police, but they basically tell him that he's on his own with this one. Dan finally tells his wife what's going on after the bunny boiling incident. And may I say, this scene was very well executed. If you didn't know about the scene going in, you might expect the dog to cop it since it shows up much more often. We all know that if this film ever got a remake, they'd be shoving the bunny down our necks.
Thank you, Daddy. Thank you so much for my rabbit. Yeah, this rabbit. This rabbit right here. I love Sampras. He's the world's best rabbit.
Anyway, Beth gets Alex on the phone and threatens her life if she comes near them again. and not in a provocative fashion a la Beyoncé. And after this, Alex kidnaps their daughter and takes her to the fair, which finally gets the police to take Dan seriously. Again, nice job, criminal justice system. So around this point, Alex becomes not just a rejected stalker, but also a predatory stalker. The latter is more common in thrillers, horrors, etc. for obvious reasons, but the former is the one that you're most likely to have happen upon you in real life. In most cases, a rejected stalker is a former lover who won't accept that the relationship is over. I haven't had personal experience of this, but I know people who have. Pretty scary. Earlier on in Stalker Month, I briefly discussed the differences between horror movies and thrillers. I consider this film to be an interesting example of a thriller-turned-horror character. Alex was originally going to commit suicide and frame Dan for her death, but audiences wanted her to receive retribution. So at the end, Alex is drowned, but still survives long enough for Beth to put a bullet straight through her heart. And all the men in the cinema in 1987 yell out, "Yeah, kill the bitch!" No, really.
Thanks for your help, officer.
Now, I have seen the alternate ending, and it does change the tone greatly. It doesn't have Dan and his wife defeating the monster, it doesn't have the jump scare, and it feels much more tragic. But still, Alex Forrest is a scary character, in her own way. Let's put aside the psychiatric diagnoses because people are much more than their mental health conditions. Alex is a definite stalker, but she also represents something. She is invasive. She makes Dan afraid that he will lose his wife, his daughter, his whole life, which is not ideal. It is terrifying to think that one mistake can ruin your entire existence, and to an extent, Alex is the external force that drives this, something that refuses to be controlled, silenced, or
ignored, Dan.
Hello? Despite this film's problems, I do find myself liking it, so I'm going to give this one 7 jam sandwiches out of 10. I hope you enjoyed Stalker Month, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheerio.
Yeah, I love Sampras. He's the world's best rabbit.